Pod Chef. Pod Chef. You're listening to Pod Chef. When I say pod, y'all say chef. Pod Chef. You listening to Pod Chef. It's a podcast about Top Chef, and that's a broadcast. It's on TV, and you can watch it. They got 17 seasons, that's a lot, kid. But you can skip those. We do recaps about the whole show. Not the food, though, but the other stuff. Yeah. You're now listening to Pod Chef, the only official podcast about the TV show Top Chef, with your hosts, Jamal, Brian, and Reeves. And I only said their first names because I don't know everyone's last name, and I'm trying to be polite. Now enjoy the show.
Welcome to Pod Chef, the official Top Chef podcast, the only one that you should be listening to. I'm your host, Jamal. With me is my co-host, Reeves. Say what's up.
What's up, everyone? It feels different this time.
It does feel different. Like it's almost like we're incomplete.
Yes.
Doesn't it feel like we're missing someone?
Feels like it's like a jigsaw puzzle, but there's one little tiny piece in the center, and you're checking under your table. Did I throw it under the table in a rage?
Where did it go? I don't.
Yes. Is it missing?
Don't tell me that time I spilled my wine, that it dissolved the last puzzle piece that I needed to finish this 1,000-piece white wall painting puzzle.
Oh, God. I have a nice open glass that I put my wine in, and sometimes I like to balance my jigsaw puzzle pieces right on the rim of the wine glass.
And your wife is always like, stop it.
Yeah, she said stop it. I'm like, this is part of doing a puzzle. You need risk.
Yeah.
But if it falls in, then yeah, absolutely. And what I know about science is it's going to dissolve those jigsaw pieces. And then I'm drinking it, and now it's inside me.
And then you move over to the other table where you do have risk out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing that. Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you think this is why we got a 1-star review this week? This kind of stuff? Or do you think it's a mystery, right? Because we didn't get any words.
You know,
just
it's
stars.
Weird. It's weird. For doing this for, this is our 6th season. We've only gotten one-star review. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a hate watcher. And this happens with success,
Yes.
Once you start getting good, you start getting like a little momentum. People hate to see you doing well. So, some coward out there, some loser fucking coward left a 1-star review and didn't put their name to it. And that's fine. We enjoy the fact that you took the time to download. You had to have listened to leave the review. You had to have heard of us.
Mm-hmm. So listen, we love our fans.
We love our fans.
Are wonderful. They are constantly interacting with us on the boards.
We love the Feet Freaks. We love the Foot Clan. We love... I have to shout them out.
We accept them, at least.
We accept them. Yeah, we accept them. But, this person clearly... I assume the person who left this review either has never eaten food and doesn't have feet.
Mm-hmm. Or doesn't like honey.
Doesn't like honey. Maybe doesn't like black people.
Yes.
That's a go-to always.
I didn't want to say anything, but I thought maybe racism was at the root of that.
I thought it was. I mean, why else would you not leave a review?
Exactly. Because
maybe they did leave a review and Apple Podcast said, this is too inflammatory to put on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. We'll leave the 1-star, but we got to get rid of the words.
And if you're listening right now and you're like, why haven't they introduced Brian? Well, Brian was so butthurt by the 1-star review.
Did we say that?
Yeah, we all right. He was bottom sour about the 1-star review, and so he's not here this week. He is in therapy right now, and we can say that.
Yeah, it was. He called it a therapy retreat, and it's where he and his therapist go on vacation together, and they're with their dogs, and it's there's a movie about it. I think. What about Bob? I think that's pretty much the plot of it, right? Yeah. So very, very similar. So he's working through something, but it feels like the root of it is all about the podcast and current state. Yeah.
I just want the person who left that review to know something. You may have hurt Brian's feelings, but he already texted us and said, "I'll be back next week, bigger and better than ever."
Yes.
But since Brian isn't here, we felt it weird if it was just me and Reeves just hanging out, because that is a good chance that we'd break one of the rules of the podcast of don't fall in love with each other, and me and Reeves love each other.
Exactly.
So we were like, we need guests. We need people to come on the show to fill for like third mic. And we found, I mean, maybe the perfect guests for this episode. I mean, it's called Doppelgangers, and I think we have a couple of doppelgangers here. Let's introduce to the show Daisy and Daffy Mills. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so your voices are very distinct. Which one is Daisy's the first one that was speaking,
I am
right?
Daisy. Yeah. Hello.
Okay,
Hi.
Daffy was.
I'm the international sex symbol between the two of us. I get it. You could tell.
Oh,
it's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I am not a well-known person in the world, but Daffy is very successful on TikTok.
TikTok, OnlyFans, Craigslist personals.
What do you do on TikTok?
Well, I usually just post pictures of my calf muscles in
Okay.
a montage, typically. To
in a
60s
montage.
music, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen some of those actually.
Yeah.
Is it like?
I would be on your For You page. You look like the type.
Okay.
I take that as a compliment.
That
Thank you.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And I actually work at Subway.
I didn't ask yet.
Restaurant. Oh, okay.
Didn't
You don't
ask
care.
yet.
You don't.
No,
care.
I do care. It's just weird that you just offer that up. I didn't even ask yet.
Well, we are identical twins, so I often feel that I have to, once Daffy states her purpose, her dominance in the conversation, I need to insert
okay.
myself as well, or I often am forgotten.
Okay, what do you
Okay.
do? Tell us what you do.
I work at Subway.
Okay, so do you own your own franchise, or
No.
Are you an artist or
Just
sandwich
sandwich
artist?
Sandwich
okay.
artist, yeah.
What's the best masterpiece you've ever made?
I call it the Noah's Ark sandwich, where I take all of the meats and place them on the sandwich with all of the vegetables, as if we were trying to preserve all of the things to go on without us.
2x2s, usually.
2x2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you call that the Noah's Ark. And
I
how
call
much
it
does
the
that
Noah's
cost?
Ark. That's actually $24.95.
That's pretty expensive.
That's
for
actually
Safeway.
pretty expensive for
Well,
Safeway or
it's a
Subway.
large. It's a hefty. Lasts 40 days and 40 nights typically for a meal.
That's a lot of preservatives. That's a
That's-
lot of preservatives.
That's
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And you came up with that yourself? And
I
added
did,
it to
yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
So you really
Yeah.
are an artist.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
I hope you should have taken a picture of that next to the calves.
We have cross promoted often through the TikTok.
Yeah, I like to make sure that my sister feels seen, loved.
Uh-huh.
So, actually, we do have some footage of her sandwich next to my calf muscle. Yeah.
Do you mean footage as in like pictures of your feet, or do you mean footage as in like
We
filming?
mean sandwich footage.
Sandwich.
Okay, sandwich footage.
sandwiches?
Yeah, we measure everything in Subway inches
Exactly.
footage.
Foot
Subway
long.
foot long.
Footage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How big is the Subway that you work at?
tiny, very tiny. It's actually inside of a Subway station. It's a
What's the
Subway
footage?
inside.
What's the footage?
4x4.
4x4. Oh no! How do you? That is very small. So wait. So how many people? So it's just you in there, right? And
Yeah,
did you have to come out maybe? So okay. Well, you know what? Now I'm
It's
thinking
just
about it.
me.
It's more like a newspaper stand maybe, and you go in. and
I
hand
like
stuff.
to think of it as its own boutique Subway situation. But
Okay.
if you were to compare it, yes, it would be like a newspaper stand
Okay.
or a hot dog cart.
A hot dog cart. Okay, cool. Because
Okay.
so at first I was thinking maybe the customers would have to come in to something
Yeah.
that you're already in with a full station of food, and it's like I couldn't really work out how that
Yeah.
would.
No, the four and four are taken up by myself and the trays in which all of the ingredients are held.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure you got to have a lot of cold cuts if you're making the Noah's Ark. I mean,
Oh
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Is that the only thing that's on the menu at your Subway 4x4? is the Noah's Ark, or do you have other things? It's like traditional stuff, or is it like all the stuff that you decided to put on there?
It's kind of a greatest hits of the Subway sandwiches, and we have regulars who order the same thing again and again, and so we call it, get me a Lucy, and we know, that's a meatball sub with ranch.
I like to order a meatball marinara with olives. Olives only on the top,
And we call that a Daffy. You come
Yeah.
in, you say, I want a Daffy. I know what to do.
So no meat sauce, just olives
Yeah, just olives.
on top of meatballs.
It's great for your skin.
That's
I've
true. I
heard
can see
that.
that. Yeah, I
For
can
the
see that.
calves. It's really to build up the calf muscle.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is kind of ironic because Brian loves talking about his calves, and he has
Yes.
pretty big muscular calves. And if he
Really?
was here, he's probably listening to this right now. He's like, God, if
Yeah.
only I was here.
I thought
and
he was in
not-"
therapy.
Yeah, I'm saying if he was here, he would have loved this conversation because
Yeah,
he loves
we're-
talking about his calves.
Wow.
We're assuming he's listening to this, assuming he gets out of therapy at some point.
Yeah.
And that's what's going through his mind. This is
Yeah.
probably like 3
Right.
months from now when he gets out of his
Can I
session.
speak to him right now? Is he?
Sure.
I know you're listening, Brian. I'd like to go head to head, or calf to calf, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that I may have the superior muscles, but I respect a man who knows his calves. But, anyways, Brian, we could fall in love, maybe.
And I just, for the listeners at home, Daphne did lay down on the ground, kind of got into a little bit of a ball when she was
Yeah.
saying this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt my calf muscles when I was speaking.
Mhm.
But it's a vulnerable moment for me. I can't talk about this anymore. Let's pivot from these calves. It's my strongest point, but a very weak.
Starting to sweat quite
Yeah,
a bit on your
starting to sweat.
calves.
It's very
Let me
difficult.
dab them with a towel quickly. Actually, I have a bunch of napkins from my
From
Subway.
Subway, because you
Thank
work
you.
at Subway. Do you guys like Top Chef?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I liked this episode a lot. I thought there was a lot of really interesting stuff. The challenges were very cool. I know
Well,
you.
don't get too far into it.
I
We're not
won't.
doing that
I
part
was just
yet.
saying I did enjoy it. You.
I hated it.
You hate
Okay.
it.
I hated it. I
That's
hated
fair.
the way they touched the food. I
Uh-huh.
hated the way they cooked the food. I
Mhm.
hated what they wore.
Mhm.
Chef uniforms.
The chef uniforms. Yeah, you dress so much better at the Subway.
Thank you. Yeah, the polo.
And that apron, none of that
Yeah.
in this episode.
Mhm.
Well, not every outfit can be a winner. Not everyone who's an artist of food can also do the fashion aspect of it. That is a part of the show that should be critiqued more. I think they're out there cooking, but are they cooking with are they cooking good looking?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they are a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Whereas it sounds like Daisy, you are cooking good looking.
I like them. I think they
Yeah.
look good.
Exactly. I would like my chefs to be conscious of what they're putting out to the world, looks wise, food wise. And I can tell that in this episode, they weren't doing any of that. They weren't. They were just, it felt a little all over the place for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys, I mean, you're sisters, correct?
Twins, identical twins.
Mhm.
Identical twins. But I just want to point out, you guys just seem very, very different. So, at what point did your personalities start to kind of diverge from one another, and you guys have different interests?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, actually, we were separated at birth.
Okay.
I remember
Wow.
the day.
You
was
You remember
when we-
it?
Yeah, it was November
Walk us through
2nd.
it.
November 2nd, 1987.
Okay.
The sun was about midway through the sky. It was a nice, sensible 62 degrees outside because, we lived in the South. And I don't know what it was, but I just looked at Daisy and she just ran in the other direction. I think I made a joke about, something about the trees. She didn't like it, ran. And then I haven't seen her. It took 12 years for us to reunite.
For her to
This
run
was the
back to.
birth story, right?
Yeah, that's what yeah. But you
Yeah,
could
so
walk,
I mean,
maybe.
I can kind of clear a lot of this up. We were both born able to communicate fully, talk,
okay.
walk.
Wow.
We were not only were we identical, but we were also very advanced. And in fact, I think what happened was our mother was supposed to give birth to us and didn't. she just kept us inside of her for an extra couple of years.
Extra couple of years. Wow.
Yeah, so we grew, and then eventually we were too big.
Just ran out. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost our dear mother that day. That we.
Oh God.
I
just want to. Can we take a second for your mom and say congratulations and condolences?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
That means a lot.
But we were separated at that point. I was. I know the memory you're talking about. I was actually being called to my future parents that adopted me that day. They had Subway sandwiches, and they were like, "Oh, Daisy, come eat," and I went, and we didn't see each other for another 12 years.
12 years. In that time, I was adopted by another pair of parents, and the thing about them is that they always wore pants. I never got to see what their legs looked like. And then there was a day when I discovered that I had amazing calves. Okay. And ever since then, that's actually how she found me. I was on a podcast just like this one, describing the voluptuous nature.
Hold on, just like this one? Yeah. What was the name of it?
Chef Pod.
Oh my. I keep telling Brian and Reeves we have to go after those Chef Pod guys.
They're too big. And I mean, literally, they are too big. The people that host it. So I am scared of going after them.
They're scary.
They might beat me up, beat my butt. Yeah.
Yeah. And they probably would. They would probably beat your butt.
Yeah. And I really can't fit that into my schedule right now. I'm kind of concerned that Daisy, you were adopted by some Subway parents, but they had no interest in adopting your sister.
Your identical
twin. They purposely tried to separate the two of you.
They only had space for one, and you got to respect it. You got to respect the choice. You ended up fine.
Yeah, they lived in a 5x5. Okay, no room for me.
This is another very small.
It's a very small house to bring a child into.
And it brought us closer together, and you have to respect that they just didn't have the bandwidth for two identical children. They just didn't. They couldn't tell us apart, and it was a whole thing.
When I go to the shelter to look at potential cats to to adopt, I'm always pitched like this two cats that are like friends, and it's like we don't want to separate these two. I'm surprised that no one at the hospital like pitched like, hey, we've got these identical twins. Yeah. We really would not like to separate these two. They've both been cooking for multiple years past their due date. Could we have them adopted into the same house?
Yeah, you would think, but that's just not the way of it.
It was different in 87.
It was different. We were talking about different times. This was pre-Jared.
Oh, yeah.
We actually can't talk about Jared on this podcast. There's actually there's a gag order, and that's not a play on words either. It's an actual gag order, so we can't talk about.
All right, mum's the word.
Yeah, he'll come after us again. What do you guys think? What do you guys know about NFTs?
I was told one day that NFTs stand for nice freaking titties. And ever since
they cost so much.
Yeah, I've been investing in them. I have an appointment next Tuesday. Yeah, really gonna try. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Nice fucking titties.
Nice.
I'm not familiar with the NFT. I have heard something about memes. Is it about memes?
Memes, pictures,
it's art, really.
It's art, really.
And people that want to, invest, really, in the future of art.
Mm-hmm. Trying to get their Ethereum on, and, I only bring it up and wasn't trying to derail. I was just only bringing it up because I just found out recently that Tom Colicchio has an NFT now.
Oh.
Yeah,
what
he told me
like?
Well, it's Shifty Pizzas. And they offer holders benefits like access to streaming classes from renowned chefs around the world. And
this is not an ad.
It's not an ad.
I mean, we have to say that. It's not an ad.
To say that.
We just have to get the word out, though.
I also have to say that Shifty Pieces collection includes 2,700 NFTs of cartoonish anthropomorphized pizza slices.
Is it one of those augmented ones?
It is. It's one of those augmented ones. You know, it's like slightly different than the version someone else might get. And you can have it for $210, a mint.
210
So I'm sorry. Can you just clarify for me? You're buying a picture of a pizza that this man is selling you.
Yes, when you put it like that, it doesn't sound as exciting.
Yeah.
But yes, that's essentially what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
I'm buying a picture of a pizza that I could probably take a better picture of a real pizza, and it maybe be worth more than $210 one day. But this is from Tom Colicchio.
Wait. Can you eat this pizza?
No,
Is it real pizza or is it a cartoon pizza?
it's a cartoon anthropomorphized pizza.
Oh, so SpongeBob can eat this pizza.
Definitely.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, I see. So it's not a human in a pizza. When
No.
you said anthropomorphized, that
Mhm.
sounds to me like it becomes human.
Sounds like
Okay.
metamorphosis.
Yeah.
The words are close, but that's not what I was going for.
That's understandable to think that. I
Yeah.
do want the listeners to know that this is something that Brian did want us to talk about.
Did not?
You know,
He did.
he brought it up. He wanted us to
Oh.
talk about it. I don't
And-
really have an opinion on
Yeah.
it.
And so if you think this bit sucks, it's because, you know, this is why third mic doesn't come up with bits for the show. And it's like left up to first and second mic to come up with bits and kind of like the gas and stuff like this. You know, he's listening to this right now and he's probably chuckling and he's laughing. It's fine.
Yeah.
He might be talking about it with his therapist.
Probably.
No doubt.
Definitely checking his calves out while he's listening to this. So, you know what? In the spirit of Brian being here, why don't we move on to a segment that we like to call Chefs I Prepared for You. This is a segment we do every week. This is where we talk about what we had for dinner last night and only last night. And we present it as if we're presenting it to the judges on Top Chef. I'll go first. Chefs I prepared for you. Nothing. I didn't eat last night.
You didn't eat? What happened?
You
You have to eat food.
I know, Reeves.
I told you this.
I know I didn't eat. I was so stressed out.
You were
I had all
you-
these boxes, all this tape. I think I got high on the fumes of tape, moving tape.
Jamal is moving.
Oh.
Mhm.
I'm not going to tell you the address this time.
Yeah, not this time. Not gonna have that happen again.
So you were unable to take care of yourself because you were too busy moving? Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't scrounge it together. I couldn't rub together two pieces of bread to make a fire.
This is very sad. Have you eaten since not eating last night?
Now that you mention it and I'm thinking about it, I haven't.
God.
Is
I
this
need
like
to
a
eat.
diet that you're doing, or is this purposeful kind of?
I
Intermittent
wish it was that
fasting.
easy. I'm not intermittent fasting
Or just fasting?
or just fasting. I'm not doing either one of those on purpose. This was accidental,
Negligence.
negligent fasting,
Yeah.
which I think should be a thing.
Are you drinking coffee or some sort of liquid supplemental?
Just water. Just water.
Just water. Wow.
Water.
This is concerning.
Flavored
Do you
water?
plan on?
Not flavored water, just regular water out of the tap, filtered with Brita. And now we've advertised for Brita on the show.
Yeah.
And there we go.
I wouldn't mind getting a couple filters
Yeah.
sent my way for free.
Yeah. Send the paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry I didn't have anything for you. I know what you're thinking, and Brian's like, why didn't you just lie? Because I don't lie, Brian. Okay? That's why.
That's very noble of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Reeves.
Whew, man, this is like coming back from like finding out that, you know, there was like a death of a cat or something like that, and now I gotta lighten up everyone. Chefs, I prepared for you a lemony orzo with asparagus and garlic breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is getting embarrassing for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Even when I do eat, it's the same thing. And then like this guy is always breaking out the works. Lemony orzo.
Yeah, I didn't have any orzo. There's a bit of a story with not really a story, more of an anecdote that I went to Whole Foods to get the orzo, and Whole Foods, I think they were in the process of like restocking things, and the box of orzo was at the top shelf, the top shelf, and I could not get to it. And because of my pride, I did not want to ask anyone at Whole Foods.
Good for you
to get it for me.
King.
So instead, I got very tiny shells that were on a shelf that I could get to, and I was like, "That's close enough."
Yeah, that's good.
Because in the episode of Top Chef, you see Monique ask someone from Whole Foods to get some coffee for her, and I thought she's being very brave.
Yeah, but Reeves, pride goes
Very
before the fall.
prideful man. That's a sin that can end up killing you, sir.
It'll be the death of me eventually, some way or another.
Yeah. You're gonna have like something at the top shelf that you're gonna need to survive, and you're like, fuck it.
Are you comfortable talking to strangers? Be honest.
Yes, I feel like COVID has changed that a little bit for me, so I do have anxiety about it now. I also don't like to bother the people at Whole Foods. They all seem very busy and stressed all the time.
Yes. That's accurate. I've worked at a grocery store. They are busy and stressed all the time, but you still got to get in there. You got to keep adding stress to it. That's what I found out when I worked there. Just got to keep
pile it on.
For most of the customers I dealt with, they didn't care about my stress. They just kept piling it on. So that's what you got to do now.
Yeah, or get a tall friend to go shopping with you.
All the time.
Wear some 4-inch heels. Another option. Yeah. You could be more self-sufficient that way. I feel like you'd look good in heels too, Reeves.
Stilts. I could do stilts.
Yeah, I support that.
I've seen painters wear stilts. Moon
boots.
Remember Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? They stretched them out a little bit. I feel like that was based on a true story, something you can do in the 22 age. You know?
I don't remember that. Oh, from the book.
From the book, the movie, the two movies that came out. Check yourself. Culture.
All right, okay.
Oh, okay. And now a sibling quarrel.
Yeah,
so this
Daisy
is nice.
and Daffy are going at it.
All right, okay. I've been checked. Check mark.
I guess this is a good way to, just tell us what you guys had for dinner last night.
You can go first.
Okay. Chefs, I prepare, or I present to you.
Either way.
Some takeout from this Thai restaurant, specifically Pad See Ew. I had to default to this last night because I had an NFT, aka no fucking time. Yeah, so I specifically chose a mild flavor because last time I had spicy food, I felt it in places I shouldn't. Specifically my butthole.
Should we keep this in? Because I'm doing the editing, so should we keep this part in when she said butthole?
Maybe
Brian,
just you can overlap with
how
calves.
About this?
Okay.
How about this? Brian, if you're listening, message me when you listen to this on Monday and tell me if I should have kept this in or not. All right? Keep going, Daffy.
Write a comment, please.
Belted in my calves. It was delectable. Sometimes I like to pick chicken, but last night I was a beef moment. Yeah, the bartender looked me in the eyes and he asked me, "What kind of meat do you want?" And I felt something inside of me that said beef. You
were looking at the bartender, you thought of beef.
Beefcake.
Beefcake. Me, I was actually kind of upset with him because I thought he would know. So you could say that we had a beef.
What is beefcake? Is that actually a cake baked with beef? Because that sounds gross.
It's generally a large man with muscles that you can ogle.
Oh, no wonder I don't know what it is.
He's the kind of guy to take the Whole Foods.
Yeah, he could reach it.
Yeah, he definitely could reach
it.
Actually,
I think I'm slightly taller than him, but I feel like I would enjoy his presence. Even though we've had our beefs. Anyways, this Pad See Ew was delicious.
Yeah. Did you get which kind of protein did you get?
Did you not just hear the last 2 minutes?
I couldn't tell if you chose beef on the Patsy U or you were talking about beef with the guy. I didn't know if there was a second dinner.
I think maybe if there was a visual that we could show Jamal, like what a beefcake is.
I'm so confused at which part was actually dinner.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
All of it.
was
The
dinner.
bartender was part of my meal.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was beef, by the way, just to clarify, to be explicit. In my pad CEO, there was a noodle, there was carrot, there was a beef.
Okay. There's no egg?
You know,
Sweet soy sauce?
Sweet soy sauce, egg, a peanut, a single peanut, not multiple. Because
There shouldn't be peanuts in Patsy U.
Well, I don't know where you're from.
I think that was the bartender. I think that was the bartender.
Went
I think that was the
bartender. With the
bartender.
peanut. That's too much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Daffy. Daisy, what'd you have?
Chefs, I prepared for you a Marilyn Monroe sandwich, which is white bread, tuna, white cheese, white onions, and mayonnaise.
Now, is this served over like a fan that blows the top off the white bread?
Yes.
All right.
It's a lot of white.
Simple
things.
question, simple answer. You know.
Yes. Well, Marilyn Monroe was very pale and she was blonde, so I call it and complicated woman. It looked beautiful, but had some things boiling underneath, and so I call that sandwich that because it's quite smelly, but beautiful nonetheless.
Did you make it hot or was it cold?
Freezing cold. The bread was frozen. The bread was frozen.
How do you eat that?
Why would you keep the bread frozen?
Well, it's usually expired things from the Subway that I'm eating through if I don't sell them.
Oh man, I gotta. This is gonna sound harsh, but it sounds like you have a terrible life.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds really rough. You don't even.
I'm very happy, thank you. I like my choices. I am a.
Don't you say that about my sister.
I have a joy de vivre. I have a joy de vivre.
Okay, Reeves, look what you did. You insulted one, and it felt like you insulted both of them because they're doppelgangers.
It just seems really rough. She said she's frozen expired bread in her
good.
4x4 Subway that she doesn't even own.
I'm not going to judge it. If you're eating frozen bread, cracking your teeth, have fun.
People have the preferences.
My
sister's a connoisseur. She likes frozen bread because she knows a sandwich. So, Reeves, if you're uneducated, say it.
I think I am. I just had never heard it. But
I accept your apology, and I...
All right.
I can move on. I'm not going to take it to the heart too much, but just want to acknowledge you're forgiven.
Okay. Well,
you know what? I forgive you as well, Reeves. And maybe now me and Daisy are doppelgangers. We'll be right back after this. That was a perfect segue.
Perfect segue.
Pod Chef.
And we're back. Season 6, Episode 4 of Pod Chef. Season 19, Episode 4 of Top Chef. It's called Doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been called Lookalikes or The Same People or, I don't know. Doppelgangers probably more highbrow, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's the name of the episode. And why they name it that, you'll find out. You'll find out as we discuss this. But this is where you press play and watching it on replay on the Bravo internet website. Let's talk about the fact that we got pot talk at the top of the episode. They were talking about pot. They were talking about doing the pot.
Yeah, I like that. I like that person said they like to get high.
I thought you might like that, Daisy. I kind of feel like I pinned you for that. I was like, she's going to like this part of the episode.
I've never smoked before. Never.
Oh, well, that makes 2 of us.
Yeah, it's just not one thing that I do. I like to think that I like to get high on life. You know, it's not my thing. However, I do respect the conversation about it. I could pretend to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's good. I think that it makes my food more palatable now that I'm bringing it up. Being high, and perhaps that's why I'm eating frozen bread. Now it's been brought to light for me, Reeves. So thank you for that.
Full circle.
So maybe it does have to. do with maybe drug use.
So
I don't like to think of it as a drug. It's not really a drug anymore.
Okay.
More of a herbal supplement that a lot of people take it, and if you can talk about it on Bravo, I think we can destigmatize it.
Yeah, you're going very hard on this.
I would like to point out
I just believe what I believe,
You're kind of like an onion. We keep peeling
back
we keep
getting layers. Both of you. It's like
you started out as apparently you were a very straightforward, boring person, and it gets a little bit sillier every time we ask.
Again, you've insulted me, Reeves, and I don't appreciate it, but I do forgive you. I appreciate the apology.
Reeves, every time you insult one of them, you insult both of them.
Yeah, we are complex individuals, independent, very distinct, very different, and I feel like our existence hasn't been respected in full.
I agree.
Okay. Well, let's change gears here. Let's
don't pick on your guests here. We're doing you a favor.
Yeah, you are. You really are. In fact, I'd love to get your opinion on this because there was a funny joke. You two ladies are very funny. So let's see what you guys think about this joke that was said on the top of the episode.
Thanks for having me back.
He's doing some really amazing work here in Houston. It all started with Chris's restaurant, Lucille's, named after his great-grandmother, Lucille B. Smith.
She was a chef ahead of her time, and her client list included everybody from LBJ to Martin Luther King and everybody in between there. She authored her cookbook in 1941. She came up with the nation's first instant hot roll mix.
Sounds like Lucille was on a roll.
So what do you guys think about that joke?
I don't believe that Padma thought of it.
Oh, you think someone wrote it down? They do have a writers team on the show.
I do think that they gave her the way that she delivered it. It did not feel authentic.
Would you guys like to come to the writers' room with us?
I would like to. I would like to write a very strongly worded letter.
Okay. Let's go to the writers' room. Brian's usually here when we go to the writers' room, but we're going to go there right now. Let's see if we can punch up this joke. Mm-hmm. What do you say? And I'm opening the writers' room door, and they've actually come in and cleaned it up in here. That's nice of them. Everything is all clean. Okay, so let's just grab a table, sit down here.
Okay, so sit down, clear out the smoke.
Clear out the smoke. Gotta get my pen out. I always use the same pen. Mm-hmm. Open up my notebook.
Do we have the setup to the joke? Because I don't remember it.
It was just that she made the first crescent roll, right?
You know what? Let's close up the.
Because I was like, was it something to do
with
the Rolex?
There's something weird about this room right now. It's not the same as it was before. So you know what? We got to make a new writers' room. We got to find a new writers' room. Yeah. One that really caters to our taste, because this one's not doing it. Also, there's a weird smell in here. So let's just shut this door. Take the keys. Lock the door.
Where are we?
This is a high school in Los Angeles.
Oh.
All right, let me lock the keys. Okay, now go over the PA system. Mr. Sams, to the principal's office. Mr. Sams, get to the principal's office. Okay, now I've done that, and so I blended in with the high school, and now no one knows that we're a group of writers. Let's get back to the podcast. Okay, we're back. So that joke, hit or miss. We don't know. We could have punched it up, obviously, but we didn't want to be in the writers' room. So the chefs have to make biscuits from scratch, and they get no immunity this week. They just get an advantage in the elimination. Have you guys ever made biscuits?
I think I have before.
I have.
I lived next to a Popeyes before I met you, so I would only eat those biscuits. And I would like to say that I am a aficionado of those flaky creations, if you will.
All right. I like a good Popeyes biscuit. I haven't had one in a while, but I like it.
Biscuits are very hard to make. They are not an easy feat. Are.
And I think some people in this quickfire made biscuits, and it's something that was already difficult, and they made it even more difficult because they were trying to put too much stuff in the biscuits, and it didn't bake the right way.
Yeah, like ostrich, which I didn't know is something that you could just like get and cook with.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's like a thing that's just available for people.
Yeah, No thanks. I don't want to cook with ostrich.
You never
what
been in
Jackson
that
does.
aisle of Whole Foods?
I was very intrigued by that
Not yet.
ostrich meat.
It's too high.
I thought that ostrich meat could be very good on a Noah's Ark sandwich. My interests were piqued with that.
They were
meat.
beaked.
I was beaked and peaked.
And maybe that's a joke for Padma.
Possibly.
We could slip
Maybe.
in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Slip a little note to her saying, maybe say it this way next time. Let's listen to some of the comments that were delivered by the judges, Padma and the guest judge, Chris Williams, as they were handed some biscuits.
Made a scallion biscuit glazed in hot maple with an ostrich, sausage, crispy cheddar, and fried it.
And this is a block of cheddar that you've breaded?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Biscuit, corn in the biscuit, Japanese brown sugar, macerated strawberries, whipped cream.
You make a lot of biscuits, Robert?
I don't.
Black pepper biscuit with apple molasses, country ham, and chow chow with moonshine vinegar.
Why did you choose to fry your biscuit?
I wanted some sort of textural element.
Okay.
Belly. The jelly is fig, raspberry, orange, and grapefruit. It's better known as the frog jelly.
Is the shape intentional?
That's the map of Mississippi.
Big biscuit.
So I did a drop biscuit
This is a long
with sheared
clip.
eggs, bacon, and hot
Holy
honey
shit.
drizzled over the top.
I'm starting to get a buzz from these biscuits.
Still goes.
Brian's not here, so I'm doing the clips.
When Brian is away, the clips just roll and roll.
The clips will play.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, that was actually like 4 clips that I edited before the show into one. That's why
I
it's
thought
so
it was
long.
interesting that one chef lied about wanting to fry their biscuit when that was a last ditch effort to cook their biscuit.
Yeah.
Shouldn't lie.
Ashley. Well, that's a big part of Top Chef, and we learned this from our best friend Harold, that there's a level of bullshitting you do when you get up and you describe what your dish is. And she definitely did, because I looked at it, and I looked at some of the other ones, and it was too big. That thing wasn't going to bake in the amount
Way
of time
too
they
big.
had, and
Way
make those
too
things
big.
smaller. Yeah.
It was way too flat. Way too much stuff in it. Didn't like the color of it.
Too much.
Don't deliver this to me. This is a cookie. This is an English biscuit at this point.
Yeah, I hate England too.
So Padman, guest judge Chris Williams didn't like Buddha,
another-
Jay, or
interesting Daisy take.
yep. Didn't like Jay or Ashley's biscuit. They loved Damar, Evelyn's, and Jackson's dish, and Jackson, without the taste buds, wins. And this is the show building up the drama to when he reveals to everyone that he cannot taste or smell anything.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah. he
Yeah,
had
so you guys
COVID.
don't know this. He had COVID and he lost his ability to taste and smell, and he's on the show.
And
he
it's a
hasn't
big
told,
secret.
Yeah, he hasn't told anyone on the show yet that he can't taste or smell anything, but he keeps asking people to taste his food.
Yes. And surely it will be something that pays off at some point. Unlike the clip at the very top of Monique talking about how, she missed her kids and she was trying to find herself to go on a Top Chef, and there was no closure on that story in any way this episode. So I don't know, maybe somewhere down the line we see something that closes that, that story. But with Jackson, we don't know. They keep giving us little hints that at some point it's going to blow up in his face.
And I'm happy because Jackson's on my team, which means they're going to keep riding this drama wave out, and I'm going to keep him in the show and keep getting points.
You think his favorite flavor is hot or cold?
Flavor?
Yeah.
Between hot and cold, what is my favorite flavor?
I like hot.
I think hot for me too.
Yeah.
I associate that with
I like
spicy.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. That's not really a flavor, like a temperature.
Yeah, it is when you can't taste or smell. How else are you going to feel it?
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think
That
of it like
becomes
that.
Flavor.
I guess cold. I'll go cold.
Wow,
Yeah,
Daffy must have lived a life if she put that together. That when you can't taste or smell, hot and cold are not your flavors.
I am a philosopher too.
Would itchy also be a flavor?
Itchy? like sandpaper. I guess if you're feeling a little bit something, yeah, and smoke.
Like if you're allergic to something and you eat it and then you're itchy.
Oh yeah, because that would be a sensation. I would do that just to feel something.
Okay. So maybe that's what Sarah put in her shrimp dish because she was allergic to shellfish.
Yeah.
Itchy.
That was her flavor.
Mm-hmm.
What else had me itchy is the fact that Wiley Dufresne is back in the building.
Yeah.
This episode. I was getting all tingly. I was like, oh, okay, the mastermind is here. Go ahead, mad scientist. What have you brought?
The mad scientist, Dexter's lab, cut his hair too.
Cut his hair. I didn't recognize him at first. I said, that's not Wiley. Go get the real Wiley. Where's his long hair?
Fell out or something.
It's gone.
Yeah.
There was a word that they used to describe him, some sort of biologist or something.
I think it's gastro.
Yes.
What's it called? I don't know.
Gastronomist.
Wait. We can all do it once. Wait. We'll count down and we'll all say it at once. 3, 2, 1.
Gastroenterologist. Yep.
We got it.
Got it. So Wiley's here. He made 2 dishes that looked exactly the same, but they tasted completely different.
Pretty cool.
I mean, this is kind of like Daisy and Daffy. They look exactly the same. They look exactly the same. Even though their outfits are different, they look exactly the same. But I'm pretty sure... Well, I don't want to say that part.
What?
Okay,
Say
what?
I caught myself realizing how I was going to end that sentence, so I had to stop.
We know you caught yourself. We want to know what you were going to say.
No secrets here. Open and honest. Bring it to the forum.
Yeah, I don't want to start a whole new thing. I've got the Foot Clan on my back, bothering me every week, so I don't want to start a whole new thing. So let's talk about. There's a
Daisy's disappointed.
Yeah, very disappointed. There's a quick shopping montage that they do. And they're back in the Top Chef kitchen. And, Sarah's like, lets Nick and Jay know that they are like her parents. Let's listen.
Glad that I ended with Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you guys are like a perfect odd couple.
Yeah.
Like you're like our parents.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, wow.
And Sarah's just jealous.
Wow. Way to take the fun out of the room.
Well, it was nice of him to laugh it off, but then it kind of quickly turned to anger when he screamed at her and told her to go to her room.
Yeah.
Pick up after yourself. Go to your room. How do you like it? Now I'm your parent.
If I'm your parent, I'm your dad. That means I'm your boss. So go to your room. No TV. No TV. No phone.
No pizza. Put the pizza down.
No TikTok.
Put that NFT on the floor. You don't get
the NFT on the floor. You don't need the NFT before bed. Put it down. You don't want to respect this house. So you don't have to live in this house.
That's crazy that he did that.
Reminds me of my childhood.
It was pretty weird, wasn't it?
Thanks for saying that, Daisy.
Yep.
So, Robert's doing a panna cotta. Mm-hmm. Dessert's always a challenge in and of itself. The show seems to be missing some character now that Sam's gone. Sam was eliminated last week, and it does feel like there's just a little bit of personality it's gone from the show because none of these chefs really doing anything this episode to stand out. I mean, right now, all we've got is Jackson with his not being able to taste. That's the only big character pull we got going on now.
Yeah.
This week also, Tom Colicchio doesn't do a pop-in while they're cooking. There's no pop-in. I live for a pop-in from Tom. Where's the pop-in?
Do you think it's because he sensed the lack of personality in the room?
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to hang out with
nothing to work with. He's like, there's nothing for me here. I'll see you at the tasting.
Yeah, I'll see you at Last Chance Kitchen.
He kind of poked his head in to see if anyone interesting showed up, and he was like, no, I'll come back later when Badman's here. When we eat in front of the kitchen. Not fun.
So they start serving their dishes, and the judges love Buddha and Jackson's dish. They love it. It's scrumptious. It works out. But then next up, Sarah and Robert. and the dish looks bad, and let's listen to how they feel about the dish.
What did you make?
Strawberry panna cotta with creme fraiche, Japanese brown sugar crumble, kiwi, and basil.
Did this panna cotta set up the way you want?
I was having a little trouble today, but I think it turned out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Robert, Sarah, my office now, please. Shut the door.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard yourself when I asked you the question about your panna cotta. You just said, "I think it turned out."
Yeah, it turned
Did you want to elaborate?
I think I elaborated in any way I wanted to, because you asked me and I said it turned out because it turned out. Period.
What does that mean? Turned out.
It means that like I said I was going to create it, and then I did create it, so it turned out. And do you need any other questions before I leave for the day? I have to
What
go
would
home.
you
I'm
grade
so
the way?
tired.
What would you grade the way it turned out? If you had to say at the end of it, like it turned out great or it turned out amazing, what would you say if you had to add like an adjective at the end of it turned out?
A period probably at the end.
Okay.
It turned out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go back to class. Robert,
definitely not an
go back to
exclamation
class.
point.
Robert,
Okay.
go back to class. Okay,
I'm so
I don't
sleepy.
wanna-
Can I go home? Can I go to
Yeah,
the nurse's
go home.
office?
You
I'm
need to go
so
home.
sleepy. I haven't slept in weeks.
It turned out unbelievable, Robert.
Too honest, Robert.
Yeah, too honest.
Yeah. Some lying from Ashley early, and then honesty from Robert.
Honesty's not the best policy. Neither is lying. You got to find somewhere in the middle.
I feel like turned out means like you're like
gonna be
partying,
sexual,
Yeah,
right?
like a
Like you're
turn.
like I'm turning out.
I'm so turned out right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what
Do
they
you
say.
two party a lot?
We get down.
We do get down. I do know how to throw down once or twice.
Oh yeah.
Did you say throat down?
Yeah, throw down. You ever do the stanky leg?
I did. It didn't go over well, so I stopped doing it.
They said it was too smelly, right?
Yeah,
They're
they
like-
said that's not stanky. That's halitosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and that's they were
And I
trying to
said,
help you out.
well, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure you said do the stanky leg. So I stunk it up.
You're not supposed to actually fight, you know.
Oh, well, that's my mistake. Won't make that mistake again.
Do you two party? You know, do you all, go out on the town?
I don't, Reeves.
Not so much anymore.
Is that
But-
because you're too short?
It has to do with where the parties are, and I'm glad you brought that up. I have found that when I go to look for the parties, I can't find them like within my eye height.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like, people were like, I'm like, where's the party at? And people kind of like point up, or they're just looking straight. And then I'm like, can you lift me and put me into the party? Well, this is what I wish I would ask them. But my pride, I can't do it because of my
Prideful. Too prideful.
pride. Yeah.
There's many times me and Reeves are at the same party. I'm like, Reeves, we're at the same party. Just chill out. And he's like, I don't see the party.
Yeah, I don't see
it
what the
happening.
party's going on.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, Reeves, you're here. You're in it. Just, grab a drink. He was like, I can't see the fucking drinks.
Yeah.
The only thing I can see is some like stench and flies coming off from your leg because of all this.
Oh, the stank leg. Stanky leg.
Stanky
Yeah.
leg is
Anytime
still-
I'm at a
yeah.
party of the Reeves, he always walks in as I'm mid busting it out.
Yeah. Well, I
stop,
smell
I'm
my
like,
way to the
"Reeves!"
party.
Yeah.
I sniff my way there. Yeah.
So what do we think about the judges being 10 feet away from judges' tables 10 feet away from the chefs as they were preparing all their meals for elimination?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I
High
hated it so
pressure.
much.
Lot of
Yeah.
pressure.
It
Not
is
a
pressure,
fan
but
of
they could have played it up, right? Like
Yeah.
they mentioned it once and then never again.
Never again.
So it's like they removed the drama because usually it's like they go to a different restaurant or something like that, which I understand in COVID times they can't really do it. But that's part of the drama because the restaurant kitchen usually isn't exactly what they want or is missing pieces and stuff like that. But they remove that, and instead it's just bland, no drama.
Let's cut the judges' table. Brian's best performer is in the bottom this week, Evelyn. If only he cared enough about the podcast to be here to talk about it, but he's not. So let's just move forward. They didn't do well. They're in the bottom with Robert and Sarah. Who do you think is going to go home? Well, obviously it's Sarah and Robert because they were pulled into the principal's office. Let's hear them say goodbye.
Robert and Sarah, please pack your knives and go.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We'll see you in Last Chance Kitchen.
You sure will. Congrats, guys.
Thank you so much. I love Sarah. Like, we've formed such a bond together.
It's okay.
And I think we both feel like we let each other down, which is what's so hard about this whole situation.
Oh my God.
That's okay.
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't think this competition could, hack the iceberg that is my self-doubt, but I've gained a lot from this experience, even in the short amount of time that I've been here. I still have Last Chance Kitchen, and I'm gonna keep going until they make me go home.
Well, they did just make you go home because you got voted off. So
that sad piano really tugged at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite line is when they said, "That's crazy."
Yeah. That stuck out to me, too.
Yeah.
So Sarah and Robert were ushered. They were walked by Tom right into Last Chance Kitchen.
Yeah, immediately there.
Immediately there. And who was there waiting? My girl, Leia, Princess. And she was ready to take on 2 new challengers. And this time, 2 people got to move on from Last Chance Kitchen. And guess what? They were both on my team.
Oh,
so
yeah.
even though I've got 2 people eliminated, they're still scoring points. And before we talk about the Fantasy League standings, and I'm sure Brian will have a problem with the standing point count next week, let's listen to the small talk Tom Colicchio moment of the week.
Sarah,
Chef,
what are you making, Sarah?
I'm making sea bass.
Sea bass. That's your sea
Like
bass?
to be, yeah. And then I'm gonna serve it in like a coconut broth.
What's your dessert?
I have a coconut and white chocolate curd that I'm gonna do with fresh fruit.
You grew up eating jerk?
I grew up in the Caribbean.
Okay.
In Jamaica, in the West Indies.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? They're saying who knew because she's white. And he's like, oh, you grew up eating jerk? Oh, who knew?
I thought I caught you there.
Yeah, I thought I was going to trick you, but
threw that in my face.
Yeah, boy, do I feel pretty stupid for assuming there's no white people in the Caribbean. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? So let's talk about the standings right now.
Okay.
Reeves, you've now joined the rest of the squad, and you have lost someone from this competition. So, but that doesn't really matter because you're still winning handedly by more than 10 points. You have 35 points this week. I've reclaimed my second spot, but I'm sure there'll be a reason why I have to change the numbers around next week when Brian comes back. And I've got 24 points, and Brian has 23 points, and he's lost Sam King, and he just had his best performer in the bottom, so they're probably going to get kicked out next week. So it's not looking good for him. So that's what's happening in the fantasy Top Chef world.
More fodder for Brian's therapy.
So glad we got that in before the end.
At a certain point, they're going to run out of stuff to talk about, right?
Yeah, at a certain
If
point.
they're going on vacation together, they're spending way too much time together, and he's going to have to start inventing things. I'm just saying.
He's going to be like, hey, check out this fantasy Top Chef draft I got. What do you think about these teams?
Yeah. I think it's going to start with, have I taught you about the fantasy league that I'm in yet? I haven't. Okay. Let's get in that.
I had a big moment last week where I corrected the math on Jamal. It's very big. Can we unpack that?
Yeah.
So we'll keep all this in. Reeves, where are they now?
So Robert Hernandez, since he was the only person fully eliminated, I'll review him. He is a private chef in San Francisco, and he also has a event, is what I'm going to call it. I've spent a very long time trying to figure out what this is. I think it's an event in Oakland, California called Let's Rep the Bay Supper Club. And it's like him and other people from Top Chef. And I think they're like throwing a party and cooking for people.
Wow.
You can get tickets for it.
That's interesting because we are on the official Top Chef podcast and I don't remember getting an invite.
We didn't, did we?
I don't remember. That's
That's
Robert,
really
that's
weird.
Strange.
That's
we didn't
confusing.
get an invite, and yet you're having a party for Top Chef people.
That sounds like a mistake, though.
That's what I hope.
I assume it is for his sake.
Yeah, for his sake.
Oh, is that a threat?
Let's just say it's a chef's promise.
I wish it was.
Yeah.
I don't have the balls for that.
Okay, it's probably not a party, you would enjoy, Reeves.
Yeah, it's just
Too many people.
Exactly. Too many people, too tall.
Daisy, Daffy, we thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug, or do you have anyone in your house with you that they want to plug something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go ask.
Okay. All right, well, wait.
Oh, she's running so fast.
God, those are big steps for her.
She's running down. I mean, this is a very big room for what she's used to.
4x4 my ass.
Hello, my name is Annie Berry.
Oh, it's Annie.
Oh, hey, Annie.
Our friend
hey,
Annie.
guys.
Do you live with Daisy?
Actually, Daisy and Daffy are staying on my couch as part of that, where people couch surf on the internet. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because I run a nonprofit theater, so I'm pretty broke. So this is a way for me to make extra money is have that. But yeah, I'm still running Bandit Theater in Seattle. So people should check out Bandit or follow me on Instagram. Barry is scary. And I just signed with an agency here in DC or in Seattle with a Seattle agent, Big Fish Pacific Northwest. So I'm a professional actor now, guys. So.
That rules. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
So book me for your private supper clubs or whatever.
Put me in your supper clubs.
Yeah, and I'm on a show in Seattle on April 7th called Social in Seattle. I'm doing some stand up there with my friend Zane, who's also here.
Hi, I'm Zane. I am the third person sleeping on the couch. It's pretty great.
Okay.
We all get to switch who gets to be the big spoon every night. Anyways, I'm a stand-up comedian here in Seattle as well. My Instagram is Zahahane, and the same with my TikTok. In terms of things that I do a lot of shows in Seattle. I'm hosting at the Club Comedy pretty frequently. That's my home club now. I'm also on the same show with Annie on April 7th. So you get to see me as a young, fertile, delusional woman. That's how I identify. Yeah, just follow me on that. Get to see where the shows are. And if you ever are in Seattle and need a laugh, me and Annie we'll do great. We're at private supper clubs, birthday parties, funerals.
We're also on a Bandit show together called "This Show Will Make You Famous," which is an influencer improv comedy show, and that's going to be at the Hereafter at the Crocodile, which is a pretty famous venue in Seattle, on April 8th.
Ooh, it's very exciting.
That's coming up too.
I need to get on that show.
Sweet.
So I can become famous.
Yeah, you should.
I need to do that show. Well, thank you guys for coming on and plugging stuff that Daisy and Daffy, I guess, don't have anything to plug.
No, actually, and they both just left. They said they were going to Subway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that checks out.
Guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you love your work, you want to get back to it.
It's true.
always
Yeah.
gonna be there.
That's very true. Do what you love.
Well, thank you for Daisy and Daffy. If you're listening to this next week, thanks for coming on the show. Annie and I'm forgetting the name. Zane?
His name. It's like grenade, but spicier. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It is.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yes, it
Don't
is.
forget to rate and review if you want to be famous and probably get called out on this podcast, especially if it's a negative review. Rate and review us. Do
don't
Chefs
leave
Not
any-
Prepared for You.
Don't leave any negative reviews on this podcast. Only love. Show us only love.
Live, laugh, love.
Do whatever you'd like, but until next time, we're going to pack our knives and go.